Yeah, we can.
All right. Now we're playing with fire. Woo! Oh, just to prove that I actually am here. And we finally got our graphics up and running. We're good? Let's go. Severe thunderstorm watch, tornado watch, and a severe thunderstorm warning, all happening in the last 10 minutes. So let's get right to the graphics and talk about what we got going on. You don't need to see me. Whew, I was like pulling teeth. Bless your heart. 2:39 is the time. There's a tornado watch for the counties of Middle Tennessee. This was issued back before I went to bed at like 9 o'clock. And we have not had anything confirmed, any severe weather at this time for our viewing area. The tornado watch, they'll probably just let it expire at 3 a.m. There's no reason to add any more time to that. And what they've done is they've replaced it, sort of, with a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. for all of North Alabama. Doesn't include Middle Tennessee. The severe thunderstorm watch, in my opinion, IMO, is way too long. But we'll play the game and we'll say till 10 a.m. It will probably be trimmed back by about 7 a.m. And what we're watching for is this here. There's two different areas of thunderstorms, okay? And this was always going to be the tricky part of the forecast, was how this was all going to mesh together, right? So you have one cluster north, you have one cluster west. And what we're doing here is we're watching to see if we're going to get anything in the middle here, okay? I know this is such a technical drawing. So what happens is right now, this area hasn't really filled in yet, okay? Sorry about that, everybody. This area right here hasn't really filled in. It's the big gap right now. But one area that is starting to experience some storms is in western portions, right near Franklin County. So here we are. And that storm has a lot of lightning with it. I mean, that is a light show. If you are in Phil Campbell, Russellville, and you look west, Red Bay is on top of you already. But what I'm going to do is, I want to stop that from going in motion. Just bear with me for a minute. But the storm itself, that has a lot of lightning. That's got something to play with, though. As it continues to move west to east, it'll continue to bring a light show there to Franklin County, and we'll watch that closely there. This is just the day of technical issues. The day of technical issues. You got me going. There's also severe thunderstorm warning south of there as well. Mainly in Mississippi, but it's kind of crazy. It kind of hops around Hamilton now. Decided not to add Hamilton to that one. I want to stop that is what I want to do. There we go. I had to get everything set up the way I want it. So Brad was here up until about 2:15. He took off. The watch was issued right afterwards, but we got it covered for you. The watch, a lot of these storms off to the west right now are essentially darting to the south. So we have this severe thunderstorm watch. Remember, a watch means that conditions are favorable for severe weather. A warning means that it's actually happening. It's this area right here where it's actually happening. I'll take you down to street level. I'm going to take the lightning off. So from Red Bay all the way just about Russellville, Vina, Hodges area, this is a big old light show with a lot of thunder and probably some gusty winds. I would imagine for 60-mile-an-hour winds. Let's take a look at velocity, see what we got here. Yeah, right in here. So you're going to have some pretty strong winds. Probably reach the surface. By about 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds. So 40, 50-mile-an-hour winds from Red Brae to Burnt Out, which I love saying, Belgreen, and that's all going to start advancing to Russellville. So if you're watching us in Russellville or Phil Campbell or Crooked Oak, your winds are going to pick up. And keep in mind, too, the way that these storms set up when they're MCSs like this, a lot of times what will happen is you have your main storm here, right? But all through here is essentially going to be winds. So preceding, you get this downdraft from the storm, right? It rushes to the ground and then it flows out on the surface. And then what happens is you get all these winds preceding that thunderstorm. So your winds could pick up. Like if you're in Moulton and this storm's in Russellville, you'll probably have winds pick up like that far in advance. Plus, with all this lightning and at night, you can see this thing for miles. If you're in Lawrence County, maybe even if you're in Hartselle or Vinemont, you could look west and you could easily see the lightning. Even in Decatur right now. In fact, on my Decatur camera, I would imagine if I spin it to the west, I could probably see that storm. But the winds themselves, about 40, 50. You could have some large hail in there. Didn't have really much picked up on mine with hail, but there could be a little bit in the way of some hail with that too. It's continuing to move east. It's essentially following Franklin County, but Colbert County and Lawrence County are included in the severe thunderstorm warning at this time. And that's like for Lawrence County in Tennessee, or in Alabama, that is way down the pike. But for areas in Colbert County, it's far southern Colbert County. Yeah, I can see it. There you go. Oh, there you go. Ah! So, of course, every time I want to show you something really cool on the camera, my furniture on the roof gets in the way. But I talked about how if you were in Decatur, you could see the storms, how electric they are off to the west. And right behind that pole, next to that, right of that antenna, I just saw some lightning in the distance. And that's a storm in Decatur. A lot of people will come on and be like, I think I have a thunderstorm in my town in Decatur right now. It's really bad. That storm is essentially in the Alabama-Mississippi state line right now. The only problem is when I take the Decatur camera to look west at that storm, all this stuff gets in the way. Wah, wah. Anyway, that's what happens with these night storms. We talked about this actually on air on Friday, was you don't technically have to have a storm on top of you to have a whole bunch of lightning with it, right? All right. So I would imagine that storm's probably moving about 35, maybe 40 miles an hour. How about 50? Okay, let's get that bad boy going. Oh. As I never did before. I'm going to take this out to 50 miles per hour. And that's why, too, the severe thunderstorm warning is extended so far east. So find your town there on the left, Trinity 344, which is like an hour away from here. Speak 335, Moulton 325, Hatton 318, Phil Campbell 304, and then a little closer to home, Hodges 250, which is happening pretty much right now. Vina, it's already there. Crooked Oak at 252. And your winds are going to pick up. Gusts right now, 40, 50 miles an hour. The severe thunderstorm warning is for 60. And large hail. And let me take this off. I'm just going to check the hail real quick and just see. Yeah, there's not very much hail with that right now. So I would bank that this is mainly just for winds. The warning probably goes with some hail mixed in. But this is tracking to the east, right? Then you have storms off to the north. I don't want to forget the Middle Tennessee people because you're awesome. So a lot of lightning in north of Fayetteville right now. If you're in Fayetteville and you look north, you can see some storms. But these storms don't really have a lot of lightning. They're not strengthening, okay? This is where the strongest storms were. If you had an opportunity to see national news tonight, you probably saw or had some video of the storms that are in St. Louis. They were pretty strong. There was a lot of damage. This whole complex of storms has kind of split the Tennessee Valley so far. So what's happened is you have energy to the north that's weakening, and then you have a little bit stronger cells off to the south there. So it's the stuff coming in from Mississippi that we're going to keep an eye on. But let me put this back in motion for you for just 1 second. I'm going to show you why I'm not as concerned see how everything's darting to the south? MCSs do this all the time. So if it does this, I mean, it's bad news for Birmingham. They'll have some severe weather. But that's not really coming to the Tennessee Valley. I know we have a severe thunderstorm warning in Franklin County right now, and that is something we're watching very closely. You know, I saw somebody say, should I take shelter? Right now, you don't have to take any shelter. There's no rotation with that storm in Franklin County. If there was rotation, Amy, I would tell you that. If I don't mention rotation, there's no rotation. So right now, it is just a severe thunderstorm that's producing winds of 60 miles per hour. They do not have any rotation with that at all at this point. Yeah, so severe thunderstorm, they're all darting south and east. If that trend continues, it's going to be very hard for this area right here to have any kind of storms. Now, we'll look back here. I see some development here, and that's what I'm thinking that we're banking on for this severe thunderstorm watch, is that this area has to fill in. This area has to fill in right in here. We don't get fill in. This is going this way, and this is going this way, and it's a proverbial split. But they do see some storms firing up. We like to think that these two areas, well, we don't want them to, but the two areas to make the forecast right would merge together and produce a bit more in the way of some kind of severe, more widespread severe thunderstorms that have a more distinct line to them. All right, I'm going to pause this for just a moment. Take the lightning off. I don't see any kind of rotation with that or anything like that. There's a little bit of shear maybe near Rockwood or Hodges. Maybe near Hodges would be a little bit better, but that's not a lot. I'll keep an eye on it though, just in case. All right. So we're live at 5, so I got all the time in the world. I have a cup of coffee. It's 2:51. Got about 2 hours here to hang out with you and just watch storms. I don't really have a lot to talk about. I already talked about the severe thunderstorm warning. Showed a track on it. I don't have any rotation with it. Hey, D, I see you on, buddy. D, why aren't you chasing tonight, my friend? Why aren't you chasing? Come on, man. What's going on? I expect you to be in the car on your way to Russellville right now. April says, we can hear the thunder bad here in Barton and Tuscumbia. Yeah, April, that storm is way southwest of you, but you can hear it and you can see the lightning, and it's probably going to stay south of you and not bring you heavy rainfall. It's just south of you in Tuscumbia. It's going to continue to move east. So here's Tuscumbia. Boom, 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 boom. There's Tuscumbia. You just have some light rain right now. That storm's not coming towards you. It's actually going east. So you can hear it, you can see it, but it's like sticking its tongue out at you. It's not coming towards you. No Sleep Till Brooklyn. Good song. Good song. All right. Jeremiah, I say that all the time. Hi, Gary, what's up? In Huntsville, going to get some lightning? Yeah, Gary, you should probably see some lightning, believe it or not. You can look north, and you might actually see some lightning with those storms in up in Tennessee, my friend. But I don't know if you're going to have a direct smackola there in Huntsville here. I'm kind of waiting to see. D, you want pictures? I'll go, no, D, I'm kidding with you. You're my good buddy. You don't have to go like that. You don't have to go like that. I'm just playing with you. It is 3 o'clock in the morning, my friend. You hang out with me on social media. You don't have to go. I tell you one thing, though, in all seriousness, on Thursday, was it? I cannot thank you enough for the updates that you gave me about that little spinner rain event thingy. Everything you talked to me about and the images were great. I just want to say thanks. Jeremiah says, smells like rain, no naders. Yeah, no naders. I agree. We don't want any tornadoes. I do think that Katie says so. The comments go so fast and I can't see them. I don't move that quick. Come on, comments, load up. I just saw something. All right. I loaded it up so I can see. April says we can hear thunder. I already talked about that. What about Lauderdale County? Right now, Lauderdale County, there's nothing happening for you in Lauderdale County. There could be something that happens in about a couple hours, hour or two. But right now, there is nothing going to happening for you. Is Mississippi in the viewing area? No, we don't have anybody. We don't. Well, we do have people who watch us from Mississippi, but they're not technically in our viewing area. No. This is live. Somebody says. I don't know. I can't keep up with the comments. Make sure it's not device. Wendy Clark says blank. If those of you who are turning the Facebook Live on, when we started the stream, we couldn't get the video. So you probably see like all black. Just like let it go for a little while. I know we're always so quick to like, we need instant satisfaction, but if you give it a little bit of time, it will go and you'll have all the graphics and you'll hear everything. If you tune in to the Facebook Live and you jump in the live stream and you start it from the beginning, you're hearing things that I said like literally 20 minutes ago. So you have to start it right from you have to take it from when it's like right now is the way it works. Usually is the best way to do it. Yeah. So I don't think I'm in black. So I think we're good. All right. There we go. In Russellville, Cindy says she's hearing thunder. You sure can, Russellville. You probably got some winds with that too. I'd say about 50 miles per hour, maybe 60 miles per hour. They did issue a special weather statement for the Middle Tennessee counties for that thunderstorm cluster, 40-mile-an-hour winds, pea-size hail. That's the lightning that you might be able to see if you were from Huntsville. Will Bridgeport be a direct line of these? Christy, Bridgeport, you got the first line to the north of you in Tennessee isn't going to miss you, but you may see some lightning to the north. And I need to plead the fifth on this one, on the Bridgeport one. I think you get split. That's just me. But I'm just waiting to see if anything fills in between these two. Once I get a better vibe on that, I'll be able to let you know. Jeremiah, is ARAB all clear? I wouldn't clear anybody right now. No, nobody's clear. Whoop. Let's just knock that out right away. Right now, I'm not terribly worried about anything except for that severe thunderstorm warning near Russellville. It's producing some gusty winds and probably some dangerous lightning. But until I start to see this area all fill in here, I'm not completely convinced that we're going to have widespread severe weather. But if it does fill in, we're not out of the woods yet. I would say it probably favors now more of a wind and rain event than it does tornadoes. But I think personally it's just kind of waiting and seeing if this fills in. I mean, the National Weather Service issues a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. for all of North Alabama. There's a reason why they issued it. You know, I don't have one forecast model that keeps thunderstorms in past 7 o'clock. So I don't know, but I will say this, there's a reason. So what we're going to do is we'll keep an eye on things and see how things go. It's all about just nowcasting this at this point. Nowcasting meaning just kind of flying by the seat of my pants and just watching everything, how it develops. Because to be honest with you, and I'll put this back on me just for a second because I had to talk with my hands about this one. The forecast models had the two clusters in Tennessee and Southwest. Essentially, this one was supposed to swing through and drop more south and be here before the Mississippi one that's moving in now behind me. So this one was supposed to swing south and hit us back at like 10, 11 o'clock midnight, right? And then this one was coming in afterwards. And I figured the way the thought process was that this would kind of drop the severe weather threat once it moved back, and then this would become a big old rainmaker as it moved through. But because we never got that first line, this storm down in Russellville is still pretty strong. And therefore, the timing mechanism is all off. So now it's just a matter of, does this whole line come together, okay? That's a lot of hand action right there. I know. I have to talk with my hands. I have to do that. I'm not Italian either. Yeah, Wesley, I don't know why you wouldn't go to bed. If you could sleep through thunderstorms and it doesn't bother you, I'd go to sleep. Just got to keep an eye out for some wind and some rain. Yeah. Is going to hit Danny Campbell. Is it going to hit the Moulton, Alabama area? Well, I'll put a little target on here. A little. I don't want to say target because it makes it sound like thunderstorm shooting at you. So the storm is moving about 50 miles an hour. Let's say 55 just for giggles. So there you go. Moulton would be 327 is what time it gets there. Hartselle, question right after, 350. Lake Gunnersville, there's nothing near you at all right now. Not even close. But you could still have some storms before this thing all moves out through the early morning hours, Lake Gunnersville. Silas and Hartselle, your timing there on the left, 3:50. That is for a severe thunderstorm warning that is moving through Russellville now, through Franklin County and portions of Alabama, moving towards Lawrence County. Hartselle, you are not in the severe thunderstorm warning, but Moulton is. It's for winds that are gusting up to 60 miles an hour and large hail. I don't detect any hail with that storm, though. For our Middle Tennessee viewers to the north, you have a couple clusters of showers and storms that are non-severe. But if you're from anywhere from Winchester to Pulaski to Waynesboro, you could have winds up to 40 miles an hour and probably some little pea-sized hail with this. And I'll put this back in motion so you can see where the storms are going and where they're coming from, what's going on. See how it's darting south and east? You can really see it in that last radar loop. That cluster of storms, that little area of lightning, very dangerous lightning with that storm in Russellville. That is like darting south and east. I mean, if that's the case, it could very easily swing south of you in Hartselle and hit Coleman more than Hartselle. But I kept it on an easterly track for now. We'll see how it goes. And what's I'm watching for here is while I'm talking about the severe thunderstorm warning that you see there, I'm actually watching this area here. What are you going to do? Hasn't been tapped into yet. It's got some juice there. Keep an eye on it and see how it goes. So the severe thunderstorm warning continues for Colbert County, Franklin, and Lawrence for winds up to 60 miles an hour. They've downgraded the hail to 3/4 inch instead of 1 inch. The hail is technically not severe criteria, but the winds would be. And that would be why that's issued. Is it going to hit Hazel Green? You are under a severe thunderstorm watch. Let me recap for everybody. Jeremiah, there's no bowling ball size hail and harvest. I'm going to have to block you if you do that again, because that's telling people that there's something happening that's not. Please don't give information out that's not true. All right. So the tornado watch, when I first came in, was issued till 3 a.m. Obviously, it's 3:01 for Middle Tennessee. That has expired or been allowed to expire. There's still tornado watches for areas to our west. There's a severe thunderstorm watch, just to recap, until 10 a.m. for all of North Alabama. 10 a.m. might be a bit long, but better to side on the caution side of things. But I would venture to say that it will be cut back a little sooner than 10 a.m. The severe thunderstorm watch means that conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms, but there's only one current severe thunderstorm warning, and that is in that yellow blinking box. That does not include Lauderdale County, does not include Limestone, does not include Madison, does not include DeKalb, Jackson, Marshall, or Coleman, or Morgan. It only includes Colbert County, Lawrence County in Alabama, and also all Franklin County in Alabama. So you have a severe thunderstorm warning moving through Russellville. I'll zoom in so I get you some roads that it's impacting. We have a lot of people who watch us out in Phil Campbell and Russellville. This is now crossed over US 43. It is on the cusp of moving into Lawrence County, brushing southern portions of Colbert County as it continues to track to the east. This is a big old light show here, probably very loud. If you're in Moulton, Hatton, Cortland, Leeton, you can all probably see it in the distance. If you're in Decatur, you can see the lightning. If you're in Hartselle, you can see the lightning if you look to the west. As I mentioned earlier, if you are in this area preceding the storm itself, your winds are probably already picking up. The way these work is that they have a tremendous downdraft that could produce some outflow boundary winds, and therefore you don't have to be right under the bright red, yellow colors to have really strong winds. In fact, the way this plays out, often your winds in the red and yellow will be less than what's preceding it in the green, and it can probably throw you off. Yeah, Jeremiah, you can totally troll. I don't mind trolls. I'm good with trolls. I've dealt with them my whole life. But just don't give false reports, because that's not fair, because that's going to scare somebody. That's all. I'm used to trolls. It's how social media works now. But just please don't tell people that something's happening when it's not. Good morning. Christina, Florence, everything is south of you right now, Florence. We're just kind of waiting on you in Florence to see if anything develops off to the north and west. But right now, there's nothing really going on. Derek, good morning, Jeff. It's Derek from Section again. Hi, Derek. Good to see you. You walked me through the rain band progression last week and when I reached out about Jackson County. I remember. Just wanted to let you know we finally finished the tournament about 3 hours ago. You and Eric were spot on, and we appreciate you. Derek, that is so kind of you to say. And that was, you want to talk about a pulling my hair out, gray, kind of turning my whole face gray kind of forecast. But I'm glad it worked out. You rock for saying that, and I cannot thank you enough. We appreciate that. So, yeah, that's going to happen now, right now. I tell you, you play with me, I will ban you. Hey, Chase, how are you? I see you on. I'm right there for the southwest corner, 43 and 72 in Tuscumbia, definitely picking up some of the wind off that Franklin storm. I appreciate, Chase. That's the kind of updates that I need in my life right there. I love it. Yeah, and that brings up my whole entire point of what I was saying. That's awesome. Chase, you rock, my friend. I appreciate it. So that's a great example of being here and getting some wind and not being in the storm here. I mean, this thing is a lightning show. I mean, like that lighting up the sky is what that's doing. There's probably some decent thunder with that too. Kind of rock the house kind of thunder. But very heavy rainfall with this as it moves to the east. We'll always talk about the chance for strong winds. We always talk about the chance of dangerous lightning. And I feel like sometimes we kind of drop the ball a little bit on how much rainfall these storms can actually produce. So I don't see anything in rotation. I do see some stronger winds now with this. This is stronger than it was before. So just to the east of Phil Campbell, maybe a couple wind gusts up to 50, 60 miles per hour. Let me see if I can confirm that. Yeah, so the National Weather Service is talking about on their chat exactly what I was just talking about a moment ago. So I'll explain it. Let me explain it a little bit better too. Not that what they're doing isn't right. I'm talking how I'm going to explain it to you. So remember I said this is the area that we're waiting to see fill in, right? So if you have if you have outflow boundaries coming from this storm here, right? And you have outflow coming from these storms here, outflow boundaries essentially can pick the air up like a frontal boundary and it can lift it. So one thing you need instability to have, big time thunderstorms, but you need a lifting mechanism. A lot of time a frontal boundary will do that. But if you can have a whole bunch of outflow boundaries like here and here lifting the air, and then what happens is they all meet somewhere, right? And if they meet in the same spot, you're lifting that air and you can fill in that area of circle that's not having any storms right now. And that's what we're watching at this point is, are the outflow boundaries from the storms to the north and the storms to the west going to fill in this radar here? Now, obviously, we have a severe thunderstorm watch, but remember, a watch just means that conditions are favorable for severe thunderstorms. And that's exactly the situation. It's favorable, but right now we don't really got nothing going on except for you in portions of Franklin County. Strong winds, and I'll zoom in. I want to get the roads. I meant to get the roads, and I lost track. I was trying to explain something. I'm old, everybody. It takes me a while to catch up. All right, so there's 24, Phil Campbell, and going into Hatton, Old Bethel. So in this area right in here, eastern portions of Franklin County already getting some strong winds. Getting some strong winds in western Lawrence County as well. And I would imagine for areas north, like in the Shoals, or like Tuscumbia, or Sheffield, or Cortland, anywhere along Joe Wheeler Highway, your winds are probably picking up. That holds true down to our friends in Hackleburg. You're not in the warning, but you probably have some pretty strong gusty winds right now. I can tell you too that the amount of lightning strikes with that, even though it's a big old light show, has actually backed off a little bit. I'm just going to go to the Huntsville radar for just a moment, everybody. I just want to see something really quick. So there's the storms to the north. A lot of heavy rain from Winchester to Shelbyville to Columbia to Pulaski to Waynesboro. And starting to just barely see a little bit of development off the outflow boundary from there. So that's got to keep an eye to see if these two areas merge. And unfortunately, where we're positioned in Tennessee Valley, we are in the middle of 2 radar beams. So I got one in High Top, I got one in Columbus. So I'm going to have to bounce back and forth because the Columbus one shows this severe thunderstorm warning better than High Top does, but High Top shows the storms in Tennessee better. So that's just kind of the way it works. So I can't keep up with the comments. I appreciate y'all being on. It's fun hanging out at 3:09 in the morning. I hope you all had a chance to get your Mac Daddy groove on for the weekend during the evening hours because it turned out to be okay. Just tracking these storms. Just to give everybody an update too, once these storms move out this morning, if you have outdoor plans for your Saturday, it should be just fine. The weather will be just great once the storms move out. It'll be a little warm for some of you, but Pamela says, thunder and strong winds in Killen right now. Yep, so Killen, this is a great example of what I was talking about earlier. You are way up here. You're not even close to the storm. Not even close to it. But you can hear the thunder and you can see the lightning. And those outflow boundary winds are picking up and probably gusting to about 35, 40 miles an hour in Killen right now. But Killen, that storm isn't even near you. Think about what would happen if that storm was actually over you, Pamela, right? Nothing even remotely close to you in Killen. It is so far south. And that storm's moving east into Moulton, but you can hear it and see it, and you have the northern fringe of the rain on your doorstep, and you can probably get the winds from it. And it's like having the thunderstorm overhead, but you are miles and miles and miles away. Matt says, very strong winds in Tuscumbia and Littleville. Littleville, definitely. Tuscumbia is more of the outflow boundary from it, but yeah, you get some winds, that big area around it, so. Bob says, what is the cap doing? The cap has been broken. The cap was around this afternoon. And the cap, if you have thunderstorms on the radar, your cap is obviously broken because the cap would mean that there would be no storms. So, hi, Miss Claudia. How are you? Hi, Ron. How you doing? I'm not Brad, though. I'm Jeff. Just so you know, and I can prove that this is actually me. Hello, it's Jeff. All good. Brad and I switched over to the shift at about 2:30, and you stuck with me for a little while. Rhonda says, watching in Hillsboro and Mallard Creek, I'm concerned. Rhonda, don't be concerned. It's okay. I got you. Whatever you need. Let me see how this plays out. Right now, you got to keep an eye. You're on the northern fringe of this. You're going to have some wind, and it's going to be really scary, and there's going to be some lightning, and there's going to be some loud thunder. But right now, you're okay. You could probably hear it already, I would imagine. Brittany says, Mountain Magic, Pisgah, Rosalie. I'm not even in Pisgah and Rosalie yet. That is eternity. Because you are way, way over here, but I don't think you're going to have any magic, so to speak, or non-magic. Right now, I'm just waiting to see how this all plays out here. And if this starts to strengthen through here, got to keep an eye out. But if it doesn't, it's probably just mainly rain and some wind for you in Pisgah and Rosalie, okay? I'm going to zoom back out so everybody in Middle Tennessee can see their areas too. What about Elkmont? Yep, Elkmont, you still have a chance for some rainfall. I just saw a question about that. You still have a chance for storms. Remember, a severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for all of North Alabama until 10 a.m., which is 7 hours away from now. I think it's a little bit much. It'll probably get cut back a little sooner than that, but obviously we're still in the watch, everybody. There's still a chance for these storms to come together and be a little bit in the way of more than just rainmakers. We already have strong winds right now. Moving into Lawrence County, if you're in Moulton, I'm sure your winds are picking up. My Decatur camera, let me see if I can, it should be more vivid now. Let's see what we got. There, oh, that was perfectly timed right there. Dope, score. Outside 3, Steph Curry, good. Nothing but net. Look at the temperature in Decatur right now. 78 degrees at 3 o'clock in the morning. This is like a summer complex of storms. Generally don't produce very much in the way of any kind of tornadic activity. They're more wind and rain. But there is that Decatur camera. I have it elevated, obviously, looking west. Look at all the lightning, and that storm isn't even in Lawrence County yet. Like, it's that far away. This is what I'm trying to tell you. At night, like when you can see the lightning and hear the thunder, you don't even have to be remotely close to the storm. Like in Killen, I have a thunderstorm. It's lightning, thunder, rain. It is, but the storm's not even really close to you. It's actually moving away, but it can still be loud. It can still be bright and still can be very intimidating, right? What about Coxie? Coxie kind of just chilling right now, just kind of waiting to see how it plays out. What you see on that radar in Coxie, is just waiting to see if the two areas of thunderstorms, one to the north, one to the south, meet and converge and expand. And right now, not happening yet. We'll see how it goes, though. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. Somebody say something to Jeff drank the good coffee this morning. No, Brett, this is Jeff Desnoyers every day. This is that, you know what? True confessions. It's not even coffee today. It's actually latte. Before anybody spreads rumors that I don't put coffee in my coffee mug, it's latte. It's from a machine that we have here. But it's really good, though. Sorry for gulping in your ear. I apologize. But I have to have my latte or I can't go on. Tara says, good, very early morning. Watching from Hampton Cove. Thank you for watching, Tara. Appreciate it. I'm keeping an eye on Hampton Cove, Owens Crossroads, to see how this plays out. Linda says, it's hot and girly. It is. It's always sizzling and girly. I keep my eye on you all in girly. But yes, it is hot. It's very humid too. And that's a great point to bring up, is that there's a lot of juice with these storms. I mean, if we can escape with minimal severe weather and no severe weather at all with this tonight, that's a win, because dew points were in the 70s. It feels like summer. I mean, it's almost 80 degrees outside, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning. That is way, way too mild and warm for this time of year. So I just got an update from Old Bethel. I see it on there. I forget the name of the person. Let me go see. There's Old Bethel. That is Brianna, and she says, gusty winds. Yes, yes, yes. Well, Theo says a lot of wind in the Muscle Shoals right now. Tina says it's hot in Rainsville, too. Oh, it's sizzling in Rainsville, too. Rainsville, you should have rain. I say that every time. That's like the worst dad joke ever. I need to stop. So here's your severe thunderstorm warning. It still includes Colbert County, Franklin County, Lawrence County. The storm is moving at 55. I'm going to play the game and keep it going east. So here's your times. Moulton, 325. That's been very consistent. Speak, 332. Trinity, 342. Hartselle, 347 if it stays east. Beautiful Eva, right at 4 o'clock. I love you in Eva. Somerville, 356, and probably hitting Decatur about 348. It might even be more of an impact for South Decatur than North Decatur. It's that tight. But again, as I have said, and I will say it again, all this area right in here is a big old wind field is what it is. You don't have to be under the pretty bright colors to have widespread wind with this, okay? And in all seriousness, I joke around a little bit, but I promise you when it comes to actually giving you the information, I'm very serious to let you know the winds themselves about 40, 50 miles an hour, even preceding the main little cluster of storms there. Christy, it's hot in Hollywood too. I love it. Vicky, love the early morning energy, Jeff. Thanks for being here. Hello from Elkmont. Vicky, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm ready to go. I'm fired up. This is what time I get up almost every day, except when I fill in night side. Then my schedule gets a little weird, but Kobe says, all the same questions are crazy. He's literally doing an awesome job letting everyone know. Just listen to him. Oh, Kobe, I can put a big old like to that. Kobe, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Wait a minute. Kobe, before your comment goes out on my screen, I just want to fist bump. Thank you. I appreciate that. Carrie says, no power in East Franklin area, and that makes complete sense with all those lightning strikes. But let me show you something that it's a really good sign, okay? I'm going to zoom in here. I want to put this in motion because I want to show you something. I'm trying to teachable moment. See all the lightning strikes? Watch the first initial radar, right? So all you out there who love weather, right? So you got this like cluster, this MCS, this cluster of storms, we'll call it. Just keep it simple. Comes over the state line and it's got lightning, lightning, lightning. Watch. Boom, 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 boom. See how it's losing the lightning strikes right there? It's still a big light show. I just showed you on the Decatur camera, right? We have power outages now in parts of Franklin County. It is a tremendous light show still, but it doesn't have as many lightning strikes as it did when it first entered Franklin County. So we're seeing that initial storm kind of fade out, right? So let me stop this now. I'm not going to have it in motion anymore. All right, let me zoom back out. Reset for everybody who's just coming in right now. I'm putting the high top radar back up, and I'm just going to leave it on the high top radar because that cell that's moving into Moulton is pretty much close enough where I can still get a good vibe on it. If I want to check winds, I'll go a little bit closer to it. But Renata said, good morning from Trinity. Still haven't slept. Was hoping that would be over by now. Oh, no, this is an overnight event. Yep, all the way through 6, 7 o'clock. The severe thunderstorm watch goes until 10 a.m., which I think is a bit much. But we'll play the game. All right, so what I'm going to do, reset. Radar behind me, one storm cluster, Tennessee, another storm cluster, Franklin County. That's the severe thunderstorm warning that's caused some power outages, has a lot of lightning, some wind gusts 50, 60, and some 3/4 inch size hail is what's reported. I don't have much hail showing up on it, but I did have the winds. It's moving into Moulton now on the cusp, and if you're around that storm, you can see it, hear it, and you probably have some winds, okay? I'm going to reset. There was a tornado watch issued for areas for Middle Tennessee until 3 a.m. That has been dropped because it's past 3 o'clock. There is still a tornado watch for neighboring counties down towards Tupelo. We do not have a tornado watch for our viewing area. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch, though, and it goes until 10 a.m. But I would imagine it starts getting trimmed back by about 7 or 8 o'clock, okay? And the threat is there for potential severe weather. And we have that confirmed right now in Franklin County, where we've had strong winds, dangerous lightning, and very heavy rainfall. There is nothing rotating with this storm. It is just a thunderstorm right now that is producing some damaging winds and large hail. It continues to move to the east at about 55 miles per hour. And that means as it continues to move to the east, even though it has a somewhat of a southeasterly dart to it, we'll play the game and put the path on east. And there's your towns. Find your town or nearest location. If you live in a very small little tiny community with a zip code that has like 10 people, I might not know that town. So find your town that's near one of those that's on the list and your location, and that tells you what time it's going to be there for you, right? Even enlist Huntsville at 4:12, and that storm is not going to make it to Huntsville directly. But it might come close enough where you see lightning, hear thunder, and have some gusty winds. This up here to the north in Tennessee is just a big cluster of just garbage is what this is. This is all big old 40-mile-an-hour wind makers with small pea-sized hail and heavy rain. But, well, I hate when I do that. Will these two areas merge? That's the million-dollar question right now. I will say this. There is some development back off to the west here, which is a sign that that could be happening. But if these two merge, I don't think it's going to be for Lauderdale County. I think it's going to be way up here. But we'll see. That's the chance of Huntsville, Athens, and areas in Madison County, even into Morgan County, North Morgan County, that could have a more substantial impact of rain and wind. But that's what we're watching. Have an ETA on when it will hit Pisgah. I have work in the morning, set alarm every hour. Haley, I mean, Pisgah, you can look north and see lightning and probably hear thunder. And if that is upsetting, then that's going to probably happen for the next hour or two. But you don't have anything headed your way anytime soon. The storms are way behind schedule because they never really merged and came south. That's what we're waiting on now. ETA, I don't really have an ETA. I can say like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock for you. It just depends if that area fills in. If the two areas don't fill in that you see there on the radar, I mean, Pisgah could very easily get split and you get nothing. So I hope that helps, okay? Hi, Christine Tinker. How's the weather for you? Well, if I could bring sunshine to you, Christine Tinker, every day in beautiful Bryant, that's what I would do. But you got to keep an eye out. You got some storms near you in Bryant. So, Christine, you're going to hear some thunder and see some lightning in the distance in Tennessee. It's north of you right now. Those aren't really headed your way. You got to wait to see if we get a little bit more development to the west. And if we do, that would be your storms, okay? D says, I believe convergence will happen right over Huntsville. You know, D, I could not agree with you more. I think if we're going to see these two areas to develop, and you always have good stuff to say, my friend, I think it's this area right in here where we could actually see these two, all this kind of come together here. That's my little pinnacle pie. I don't know what I did there. But that would be the area. And it might not even be like a convergence of severe weather. It might be just a convergence of where you just have tons of rainfall and a lot of lightning. And that would be enough to probably scare some people. Hi, Cindy. I'm not Brad, though. For those of you, I don't even sound like Brad. I promise I don't. I'm Jeff. Hello, how you doing? Brad was here. We switched shifts about 2:30, so I'm still in cahoots with Brad, talking on the phone with him. So yeah. Is this 24/7, Jeff? I'm trying to keep up with what you are saying. I'm trying to help you out. 24/7 Jeff. I think I like that name. I don't know. I still think I like the Big Cheddar better though. D says more Brad. No, definitely not Brad. Sean says raining and lightning and lights are going out every 10 minutes. Sean, where is that? That you have all that happening? You always try to give me a location if you can. I'm assuming you're right near Moulton is what I'm assuming, but he's watching you live. Oh, I got it. Brad is watching. I got it. Brad, are you really watching me right now? I was filling in last Thursday, and maybe that's why the people last Thursday were saying that too, because Brad was chiming in. Now I got extra pressure. Brad, you can't watch. Don't watch. Now I feel like I have to make sure I really step my game up. Got the goat watching me. When you got the goat watching you, it's serious stuff. So here's your severe thunderstorm warning. It's been trimmed back. It's not nearly as big of a box. And I talked about how the lightning was backing off on that storm and not really all that impressive. The National Weather Service has not yet extended the warning to this area because the storm is losing a little oomph. I'll take the lightning off. I'll pop in a little velocity, but I'm going to change it over to Columbus. And I'm going to go ahead and see what we got for a little bit of wind. There's some gusty winds with this, everybody. And they're probably getting close to the surface, close to 50 miles an hour. Look at this. This is a great example here, too. So if you're in Grayson or if you're in Cortland, you're not in the box, right? But look at your winds. They're still up to 50 miles an hour. You don't have to be in the warning box to have yourself a strong gusty winds. In fact, most of the lightning with this now is off to the south into Double Springs, and we're losing the oomph with that storm in Lawrence County. But it's still a big old light show. It's loud. It's going to knock out some power. We already have a history of some power outages in eastern Franklin County, so it's all good. If I could look at Cody's question. Where is Cody's question? I don't see it. Can you just, instead of looking at Cody's question, can you just go ahead and just retype it for me, Kimberly? Let me see here. 318 boats are fishing tournaments this morning. Yeah, lightning and boats are bad, but depending on what time they go out, I don't see the rest of the question, so I'm not entirely sure. But I would have to say, if they're going out in the boats at 4 o'clock in the morning, which a lot of people do when I come into work, I see them all going out for fishing tournaments, I would say that I would probably wait to go out. If it's at 6 or 7 and they're going out, depending on where they are, I don't know where the fishing tournament is. I can only see part of the comment, Kimberly, but I would imagine most of the lakes by 7 or 8 o'clock should be good to go. But anytime you have lightning, you don't want to be out in the boat. So I would say early risers at 4 or 5 going out for the fishing tournament, I would probably hold off an hour or two. And I don't know where this tournament is. There it is. 318 boats are fishing tournaments in the morning in Gunnersville. Blast off safe light. Will there be, how bad are the storms? The storms are very electric, JC. So therefore, as they move closer to Gunnersville, between now and 5 a.m., they're going to have a lot of lightning. So I wouldn't be out in a boat until after the storms clear the area. And that will probably be more towards 7 or 8, especially in Gunnersville. If they were going out in the shoals to do some fishing, I think you're okay. I have not cleared anything yet. Kaylee, I don't really can show a future radar right now because, to be honest with you, the forecast models are so off right now that there's nothing to really show, because they're not picking up on what's happening currently, and therefore the rest of the radar, the future radar, is flawed. And I'll show you what I mean. Let me show you. So that's why I have not showed the future radar, because it's a flawed piece of doggy poop right now. Seriously. That's what it's telling me at 3 a.m. is happening, right? and it's off. Already it's off. The storms are way more east than what this is showing. So as I progress through the morning, you see the two areas trying to come together, and they do sort of by Jackson County, but they never truly really come together. It's close. And then they're out. I mean, this is what I got for future radar at 7 a.m. Okay? There's nothing there. So that's why I haven't really been showing the radar, future radar, because the initial radar itself is not really in line with a lot of the forecast models. So I hope that helps. But I showed it to you, and you have your own deductions right now. But this area of thunderstorms, this is the area that's very impressive. But it's not moving towards us, it's moving this way. So for all intents and purposes, besides this severe thunderstorm warning in Lawrence County and Moulton right now, that's about to move into Speake and bringing some heavy rain and gusty winds to Cortland to the north, Grayson to the south, and eventually probably some pretty gusty winds in Decatur, Priceville, Hartselle, Falkville, Vinemont, all up and down 31 and 65. Beautiful Hartselle, which I absolutely love. Probably some pretty gusty winds already. Now, if you're in the Florence area, the Shoals, Tuscumbia, Sheffield, the storm is by you, but you probably still have some pretty gusty winds. If you're in Huntsville, if you're in Athens, Newmarket, Hazel Green, Leicester, Lexington, Anderson, High Top, Scottsboro, Gurley, this is just a waiting game. Owens Crossroads, we're just waiting. We're just waiting to see how this works. And when you're on social media and you're doing a stream and you're waiting, it seems like forever at home, I know. We're just waiting to see where this all goes. I think the warning for that Moulton storm has actually been expired or cut loose. Let me see here. Did they really cancel the watch already? Oh my gosh. Ay caramba. The severe thunderstorm watch, which was issued like a half an hour ago, I do believe is already getting cut back. So Franklin, Lauderdale, and Colbert counties in the severe thunderstorm watch. You had a watch issued, and then you had a warning 5 minutes later, and now your watch is already starting to get trimmed down, I do believe. I had dates that lasted longer than that. I had relationships that lasted longer than that. Ashley, what about the Hanceville area? No storms near you now, but you probably can see some lightning off to the west. That line of storms that's moving through Double Springs and Moulton that you see on the radar will be headed your way if it holds its own. It will bring some gusty winds and some heavy rain from now until about 5 a.m. And then after the storm moves off to the east, the rest of your day will be quite delightful. Enjoy in Hanceville. Winston County, storms are always to the east of you, moving through right now into Double Springs. And once that line moves through, it's got some winds of 50 miles an hour and some heavy rainfall. Melissa, once it moves east, it's out of here, and that should be the last hurrah for you. Hearing a little bit of wind in Asbury. Thank you for the update. I appreciate that. For me in Russellville, it's quieted a lot. Yes, Cindy, it sure has, because the storm has moved to the east. You can see that on the radar. All the red and yellow and scary colors are to the east of you, and the wind behind the storm's probably not so bad. Virginia says Lexington is in a waiting game. Just waiting to see. I think Lexington, you're going to be just fine. I think if we merge these two areas of storms, it's going to be east of you, and I really don't think it's going to be very much for you. But I'm still keeping an eye on it. I do believe the severe thunderstorm watch has been trimmed back. Let me just see before I become sarcastic, Jeff. I still don't see it on my graphic yet, though. Melissa, where are you getting hammered at? LOL. I forgot where you said you were. I'm so sorry. If you said before, I'm such a big loser. Barbara, is there anything headed more towards Red Bay? Nope, you had your storm. There's a lot of stuff to the south of you, though. But you should be okay. Hi, Joel. Fayetteville. Some storms right now, actually, in Fayetteville. Not severe, though. There are just some lightning, some rain, gusts up to 40 miles an hour. And if you're in the north side of Fayetteville, or if you have more rain happening right now, if you're South Fayetteville or Park City, you have probably dry conditions. You are cut right in the middle. And Fayetteville, what I'm waiting on to see is if some development between the two areas merge. And if they do, you could have a little bit more in the way of some wind and rain. Chase says, all right, bedtime here. Good night, Captain Jeff. Have a great night time with these guys. We'll check them during the week. Chase, you're the best. Appreciate your update, my friend, too, from the winds. I really appreciate that. That was very, very helpful. I'll zoom down. I have somebody in here from Double Springs, and I'll zoom into the storm for you. This is mainly just a rainmaker with some gusty winds. You have a lot of lightning in Double Springs. I'll take the lightning off. I'll put the velocity on, but I'll take it out of Columbus so you can see it a little bit better. There's some gusty winds here. The winds themselves probably getting up to about 50 miles an hour. And these winds extend all around this little cluster. So you don't have to be in the severe thunderstorm warning. I'll zoom into Double Springs so I can tell you where the strongest winds are because I don't know the roads down there at all. Blake Drive, Bailey Road, Lynn Road, Highway 195, County Road 53, County Road 2, and that is all headed to the east. If you live in Pine Drive, who wouldn't want to live on Pine Drive? I like that. Or who wouldn't want to live on Tingle Road? That's awesome. So those storms are headed your way. That one storm, it's not severe. It's not warned anyway. Let me rephrase that. It's not warned, but it is producing some strong gusty winds and some heavy rainfall with vivid lightning as it continues to move to the east at about 50 miles per hour. Moulton, some rain for you. That's headed over to Hartselle, but that northern portion of the line itself has weakened considerably. Dixie and DeKalb County, long way to go before anything gets to you. Maybe like 5, 6 o'clock if these storms hold up. And same with Powell. Those of you asking in DeKalb and Jackson County, the reason why I'm not mentioning your names is because you're not even in the game right now. Nothing even over there. You got to wait for this to see if this, I hate when I do that. If this fills in right here, this cluster of storms, do they meet up in the same spot right here and then advance east? That's when DeKalb and Jackson County get into the mix, and that won't happen until at least 5 o'clock. So, and I don't anticipate widespread severe weather, though you could have some gusty winds and some heavy rainfall. I hope that helps. Hillsborough, mobile home right now. Wind is insane. Bristol, how insane? Like 40, 50 miles an hour, or like enough to topple over the mobile home? Because there's a difference there. There's layers of insanity with the wind. I would imagine the gusts are about 45, 50, which is still very strong. But I don't know about insane. But in a mobile home, magnified for sure. Cortland, storms are all south of you. You got some rain and some wind. Russellville and Littleville, storms are east of you. You got some rain and most of the winds, strongest of winds are gone. There's been some power outages in your area, but behind it, all you got is some rain. That's all it is. Cheyenne, getting loud again in Hackleburg. Yep, that storm in Hackleburg is actually, should be moving pretty much east of you. Yeah, Hackleburg, all you hear is you hear the lightning, you hear the thunder east of you. That storm is beyond you. You're just getting rain now. So you're good. It's not there. Eric, this is a great post comment right here. This is the comments that I'm here for. Dixie, you're very welcome. I try to answer your questions as much as I possibly can. Have a friend working in Athens getting off soon. Is it going to be getting heavy rain soon? Travis says. Right now, not really. No, I think Athens fine. If the rain comes together, it'll happen here maybe by like 4:15. Just waiting to see if this fills in. As I said that before. Eric wrote a great comment. Prayers for St. Louis and parts of Kentucky. They got hit hard. Yes. Somerset. Yes. And there's the... Okay. I got to use my hands again. So when the severe thunderstorm opportunity for today was being forecast, areas north of us were like in this bullseye of enhanced tornado activity. And unfortunately, that's how it played out. Missouri, Kentucky, even portions of Ohio, there's been a tremendous amount of storm damage, right? South was always going to be how far south was this all going to get? And we were like on the fringe of it, right? So they issued severe thunderstorm watches. We knew we had some rain and some wind, and that was a primary concern. Question is, were we going to have a little bit of spin ups? Were we going to have some tornadoes? I don't think the chance was really high here for tornadoes, but I did expect it to all come together and be more of a big old rain event than it has. The brokenness of this line, because it's not all coming together, leaves a big area of the Tennessee Valley right now, right through here, rainless, right? All this is rainless through here. So if this comes down south and this goes north and meets up over here, you could get some decent rain and some gusty winds now through the time we go on air at 5 o'clock. But if you're in this area back here, like in Florence or Colbert County, Lauderdale County, this essentially has been a swing and a miss for you. And overall, it's just not much of an impact. And when you forecast the potential for severe weather, and I always say this, you always want to play down, not up. Like I can always tell who homeowners are and who aren't homeowners. Because, like, for instance, I think it was last month, severe thunderstorm came through my house. I live in Northwest Huntsville. My neighbor had a large tree fall in the corner of their house. Luckily, nobody was hurt. But it was a big time headache getting people out there to get the power back on in the house. They had to build the roof back up. I mean, it was a huge endeavor and a life-changing routine for them. And it was one wind gust of 60 miles an hour at the wrong time, hitting the tree the wrong way, and it hit their house, and their whole, lives were changed for 2 weeks. They had no power. They had no place to live. They couldn't even stay at the house. They had no power. It took forever to get Huntsville Utilities out there to fix it. So, and it wasn't Huntsville Utilities' fault because it's a rental, that's why. But my point is, whenever storms can play down, that's always a good thing. We say thank you. And Gary Taylor says, yes, we pray for everyone that was impacted. That's pretty awesome. Good stuff. Is the Moulton area storm going to hit just south of Marshall County? Just south of Marshall County? That's a good question, Jessica. The overall movement of these storms was generally east, going east like this. But a very good thing that you just said, let me put this back in motion. This is, I don't want to say that again. This is exactly what I was talking about. Watch what happens when this goes in motion, right? Remember I was saying when they were first moving into Franklin County, they were moving east, right? Now watch what they're doing. I hate when I do that. They're doing this, woo, right? And if that's the case, they're like darting away from the area. I mean, this area right through here has got to fill in quickly, because if it doesn't fill in, the timing mechanism's off, and this is going to be just a big old miss for most people. Okay? So that's a great point. Jessica, thank you. That's a great comment. Constructive comment. It's awesome. I have it on the high top radar. Everything's pretty much getting into high top now. Brandy and Trinity, everything is south of you right now. You have rain. You probably have some winds coming from the outflow boundary from the storm to your south, but you're okay. Christina, there's nothing happening in Belle Green and Florence. You're good. Everything's south of you right now. Unless the radar fills in between the two areas, right now there's not much. Athens area, there's nothing happening in Athens. Travis, you're good. You can see the radar. There's nothing happening in Athens. I don't think it will fill in. I don't think the two areas will fill in. So I think if they do fill in, it will be east of you. But we're keeping an eye. There's still a severe thunderstorm watch out for your area. So I'm not going to say you're in the clear, but right now there's nothing going on. Your severe thunderstorm watch that was issued at like 2:20, 2:30 has already been cut back. Colbert County, Franklin County, Lauderdale County, you're out, which tells me that the National Weather Service and the Jeff Desnoyers, and I can tell you Brad Travis felt this way too. You're in the clear. How's it looking for Douglas and Boaz coming up? John, just kind of a waiting game to see what the storms do, if they maintain them some strength. There's nothing warned right now. A lot of lightning. You might be able to see some lightning to the west if you went outside right now. Skylar says, tornadoes. I don't think this is a big tornado event. Never thought it was. Thought it was going to be rain and wind. But I don't think this turns out to be a big tornado event, no. Libby, thunder and lightning starting up in Hartselle. Winds aren't bad. Good, knock on wood. Libby, thank you. That's a very constructive update. I appreciate that. And beautiful Hartselle. I love Hartselle. I might move to Hartselle. Would you like that, Libby? Would it be okay if I moved to Hartselle? Because I think that area is so beautiful. And I love going there. I'm going to be there today. I will be in Hartselle today from noon to 5, just eating and shopping and doing my thing. I love going there. I like going out to Jackson County. I love DeKalb County. I try to explore all of the Tennessee Valley. I even took a sunset picture in Ardmore, Tennessee the other night just to go up there and take a sunset picture. What about the cell west of Falkville? Is it just rain and wind? Yeah, Tasha, I've been talking about it for a while. If you go out and look at the sky, it's going to be a big old light show for you. But this storm is not severe. It's mainly just wind. There's the Falkville area. This storm it's got some heavy rain with it, and it probably has some winds now up to about 40 miles an hour, I would imagine. So you could get some gusty winds. Union Grove, Kristen. Hi, Kirsten. How are you? I said Kristen at first. Don't be mad at me. You're the best. Union Grove, I think you're okay right now. I can't say clear yet because I got to keep an eye on that line that's still to your west, but that thing is darting south and east. And unless we start merging these two areas together, we got nothing for you. But I can't clear you yet Get some sleep, though, and have your weather radio on or have our notification. We'll get you up. Just have it go off really loud. Charlotte, you're very welcome. I'm just chilling out. We're on, Claudia, myself, and Matthew will be on air at 5 o'clock, and I got literally nothing to do but watch storms and drink coffee. Well, latte with you. Jacob, you're good in Littleville. You're okay. Gunnersville, you're not clear, Sherry. Still some storms off to the west. Can't clear you yet. Woke up to check in on Huntsville, going back to sleep. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that coming in, and you go back to sleep. It's okay. Kristen, wind seems to have calmed down here in Moulton. Yep, the storms are east of you now, so that's a great update. Is the worst past? Yes. Kristen, if you could tell me in Moulton, Wren area, how much do you think the winds were for you? Do you think they got up to about 40, 50 miles an hour? Because that's what I showed on the radar here. Just some insight from you would be great. I love that. I mean, I can't be here and in Moulton, so you got my back, hopefully. Dwayne says, any chance of Sand Mountain Magic? Right now, I don't think so. I'm going to watch it, though. It is Sand Mountain Magic. But I think you're good. But we'll keep an eye on it. Smith Lake has a fishing tournament. Oh, that's great. They should have a great time on Smith Lake. Once these storms move out early this morning, the rest of the day looks fantastic. What about Higdon? Terry, Higdon is way over here, and you are not even close to anything right now. So for now, you're good to go. You probably have maybe a few thunderstorms that could roll through about 5:30 in the morning when we're on air here for our newscast. Right now, I don't think it's a widespread severe weather event for you, but there could be some gusty winds and some heavy rainfall. I hope that helps. Why, when somebody thanks me, why would the Facebook hide that comment? That's so stupid. Cherish, oh, what a great name. Is the rain going to linger throughout the morning? No. The faucet turns off almost immediately after the storms move east. Therefore, much of Saturday will be just fine. Thank you very much. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Is Memorial Day next Monday, Gary says. You know what? I don't know. Is it? No, it's the weekend after, right? I know. I can't believe Memorial Day weekend. Good golly, Miss Molly. Is it really? It's the 26th, my friend. Yeah, I guess that's not the 19th, but yeah. Yeah, 26th, Memorial Day weekend. Rodentown. I have no idea where Rodentown is. Hang on, let me look up where this is. I don't know. Rodentown. DeKalb County. Got it. Give me a town that it's near so I can actually answer this. Near Gadsden. All right, Gadsden. Still got a long way to go with Rodentown. Nothing near you right now. This line is weakening significantly, but if it were to hold its own, you get a little wind and some rain with it. But right now, widespread severe weather is not looking really likely. Joseph, ETA for Huntsville. Kind of a jaded question. Can't really answer that right now. No, I can answer it. So here's Huntsville. Right now, everything is mainly south and north. If these two areas merge, they would probably merge right here. And if that was going to happen, it will happen in the next hour. If it doesn't happen, it'll probably happen to the east of Huntsville, and there won't be much happening in Huntsville. I told you, it was a jaded question. John Namor, hey, Jeff, was I able to pull my motorcycle out and ride by lunch? Yes, sir, you sure can. My good buddy, John, always good to see you on. You be safe out there on the bike, but you have a good time, my friend. Kristen, yeah, it's about 40, 50 miles an hour. Sounds pretty accurate. That's awesome. Got something right today. As a meteorologist, that's a big step forward. All right. So, one thing that's interesting about this area, remember we were talking about how there wasn't as many lightning strikes and it was kind of showing a little bit of weakening? That's not the case anymore. So we're starting to see a little bit more in the way of some lightning strikes, and this is kind of expected. I think it was right through here. So I'll put this in motion again, and you're going to watch this thunderstorm. It's pretty cool, actually. It's going to go in and out. So when it first comes over the state line, it has all this lightning, and then it loses the lightning, and then it gains it back. Got to remember, this area preceding this line of storms is juicy, to say the least. And what I mean by that is it is ripe for some thunderstorms to fire back up again. This is exactly why I can't clear everybody right now. I can clear areas here. You're good. Okay. But in this area preceding that cluster of storms, you just saw them right before your very eyes. We're just hanging out here, right? We're having our latte, our coffee, and chilling. And look at all the lightning strikes that just popped back up on that thing, right just to the southwest of Hartselle. That's a light show for you in Vinemont right now, Hartselle, Lakin, Falkville. I have to say that very carefully. Even in Huntsville, you could still see the lightning. I would imagine if I pull up the Huntsville camera, it would be vivid. Of course, when it's dark outside, I lose my reference of where I'm at, and I can't really see where I'm at. Let me see here. If I want to go southwest, I'm going to go to the west. Just bear with me. I'm playing with the traffic camera behind your back. I'm cheating on the radar right now. Of course, looking southwest has the big old tower in front of it. Ay, caramba. Give up. Oy vey. Oy vey. Anyway, I can see some of the lightning in Huntsville, but the stupid tower's in the way and I can't show you that camera. It doesn't work. Barbara, you're very welcome. I'm visiting Tullahoma, Tennessee for a granddaughter's graduation. Is coming down here. The thunder. Oh, when you talk about your specific town, I zoom in. Tullahoma. Boom. Yep, there's your rainfall. Not much lightning and not severe weather though, Barbara, but just a lot of rain for you right now. Just a lot of rain. Starting to see some showers fill in like near Newmarket. Athens is some light rain to the east, nothing heavy. A little bit in the way of some storms firing up here. Not storms, just like little rain showers. A lot of lightning with that storm. So obviously, just to reset and recap, this is the main player here. It's generally moving to the east. It's moving at 55 last I checked. I think I don't have a warning on it anymore. So we did get a report. Katie from the National Weather Service does a fantastic job. Says the Muscle Shoals did get a gust of 51 miles per hour, clearing the back edge of the rain move through. So that goes to show you. So what happens too, when the back edge of the rain moves out, you can actually have some pretty gusty winds too. And not only do you have storms preceding it, or like wind preceding it, but you can get, it's called like a wake low. I never knew what the term was until I moved here. Wake low, where you get some gusty winds on the backside of the storms too. And we had a reported wind gust of 51 miles per hour, and very kind of the National Weather Service to update the wind gusts. I say ay caramba all the time, Samantha. So here's the timeline of the storms for you. I just put this in. You can look at it. I don't need to name every single town. You can see it. Good Hope, Hanceville. We had Hanceville on earlier. Cody, Renfro, Rod Run in Crossville. Say that 5 times fast. Today at 1 p.m. will it be washed out? No. John, you good to go. Loud thunder in Lakin, Falkville area. Thank you, Elaine and James. I appreciate that. Yes, that storm is right near you. In fact, you are my first town on that list, which means it is happening right now. That storm is pretty much right above you. Dana says, Phil Campbell in the clear. Yeah, you should be good. You might get some gusty winds still, but most of the storms are out. Jerome says, what about Tuesday? Not even thinking about it yet. I just got to get through a Saturday and Sunday. Tuesday has potential to be another frontal boundary. But until then, I'm going to get by Saturday and Sunday. I'm going to focus on what's happening right now. Patty, where are you? When is this hitting? I don't know. I don't know where you're at. Tennessee Valley is a big area, Patty. I need a little help. You tell me where you're at, and I'll be happy to help you. Brandy, will Gurley be affected? Brandy, I think so. I think you're going to have some thunderstorms, or you're going to actually have some rain, maybe some winds. But I don't think this is like a big severe weather event for Gurley. If this doesn't all come together pretty soon, we don't have much in the way of warnings. But we still have some winds and some rain. Dana says, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate that too. Appreciate you saying that. Lindsay and Grant. Still waiting in Grant. You're at the tail end of that little box I just wrote. Storm's not severe, everybody, just so you know. It's mainly just some 40-mile-an-hour winds with some rain right now. That's all it is. A lot of lightning, though. And lightning can cause damage. Yeah. Clayton says, what about Rosalie? Just waiting. Nothing even near you in Rosalie. You got to wait probably another hour or so before it gets there. And it probably won't be severe. I won't clear Newmarket yet, but pretty close to calling it. Yeah. You're welcome from Trinity, Angel. That's very sweet of you. Thank you. Very kind. Hi, K-Soul. Good to see you on. Brandy, thank you. Gosh, somebody says awesome. Makes my whole day. Kobe, I feel like Tennessee Valley is starting to become the new Tornado Alley. You know, Kobe, that's a very interesting thing you say. When I was a kid, back in the day, when I first started in TV many moons ago, Tornado Alley we always thought of it as West Texas, Oklahoma, right? Not the case anymore. It's moved east. I don't know if it's completely in the Tennessee Valley, but you right on with what you're saying, my friend. Will Madison, Huntsville area see anything? Right now, not really thinking much. Nope. Clayton says, Rosalie, my kid won't go to sleep. Well, you know, Clayton, I tell you this, thunderstorm anxiety, especially at night, is a real deal. And it affects everybody. And I take it very seriously, whether the storms are severe, not severe, or whatever. Everybody has their own level of comfort, right? And I totally get it. And I understand, like, when there's thunderstorms in the forecast, you know, if your child doesn't want to go to sleep, I get it. You know, it's scary. It can be scary, especially when you live in the Tennessee Valley with the history of what's happened here in the past. You know, thunderstorm anxiety is real. Right now, though, I can safely say that there's nothing severe happening. I'm here. I'm watching it. If anything pops in Rosalie, I will be for sure to let you all know. Might even be into the 5 o'clock newscast at that point. But right now, there's no immediate threat for Rosalie. I'd say maybe try to get a little bit of sleep. And if something does pop, you know, have your weather radio ready to go and go ahead and get up. I know the anxiety can be tough, though. I totally get it. Hi, Jordan. Just checking in before you head to work. You have a good day at work, Jordan. I don't know where you're at exactly location-wise, but right now things are pretty calm except for that big old light show in now northwest Coleman County as that storm continues to dip south and east. And still has a lot of lightning strikes with it, though. But that's all I'm watching. Serena from Hartselle. I love Hartselle. Will that be okay? I think you're okay. Different thresholds for okay. Some people, like I said, any kind of thunder and lightning really freaks them out. And then for other people, you know, it has to be a full board, like, you know, tornado, big damaging winds. There's a different threshold. But in Hartselle, you probably can see the lightning to the south. You have a lot of thunder, and there's some pretty heavy rain just to your south. If you live in South Hartselle, you probably have more in the way of heavy rain than you do if you're in North Hartselle, which means if you're going to the lows on the north side of town, it's not raining as heavy as it would be if you're in the south side of town. I love Hartselle, everybody. I go there all the time, just so you know. If you're in Hartselle today, you may see me. Coleman County is where all the lightning, Addison, Grayson. If you live in Vinemont, this is a big old light show by you. But let me just check the velocity really quick. This is a tricky area for velocity because you're kind of caught in the middle between the two radars, but this is where we probably have some winds that are very close to severe criteria in this area, but maybe just south of 60. Yeah, these are pretty strong winds. Just because they're not 60 mile an hour severe thunderstorm criteria kind of winds, because that's what the threshold is. It's 58 technically. They're still a big time wind maker. But you can see, like, you know what? Let me show you something else. I want to show you something else. Let me show you. Michael says, very windy in Falkville. Yes, it is. And that's the storm right on your doorstep, my friend. So please be safe. Very windy. Probably winds about 50 miles an hour, I would imagine. So I'm going to put this in motion for 6 hours, right? Let me show you what kind of happened here. So you have this line of storms to the north. Hang on a second, everybody. I really want to show you this again. So this is the last 6 hours. Now I want to do I want to do 6 hours. I'm trying to show you something that's really annoying me. That's not loading. Oh, I see what I did wrong. I did next 6 hours. That's not what I want to do. I want the last 6 hours. So watch what happens. So I have the radar, right? Look at this right here. You have northern part of the storms in Middle Tennessee. They were severe. They were very strong, right? Storms to the south, they never, ever come together. What do you get? Big old split. Meteorologist nightmare and severe thunderstorm event. In terms of not getting the forecast right. But in terms of everybody staying safe, priceless. Right? Used to have that happen to me in Cheyenne all the time. What about Speak? Margie, I think you're okay. Still got a few storms, but not much. Gary says, I heard rumors that Tornado Alley's in Alabama. I think everybody that lives here thinks it's Tornado Alley, and it very well could be. Tornado Alley, technically, there's been many theses written and experts, but they don't have it here. They have it just to our west. Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas is the new quote-unquote Tornado Alley. But if you live here, you probably think it is. Maggie, Fife, we're always on our toes. Oh, well, you have incredible toe strength if you're always on your toes in Fife. That's impressive. Fife's a pretty beautiful place too, by the way. I'm out there quite a bit too. But right now you're good. I know Fife has that Sand Mountain magic, or almost technically Lookout Mountain, right? But anyway, you have a situation where you're okay right now. Fife, you're way over here, and you just got to keep an eye on those storms to the west. They're not severe right now. Just to reiterate, everybody, there is no warnings at this time. All we have is a big cluster of lightning strikes in northwest Coleman County that's producing some heavy rain as well with those storms. Some winds up to 40, 50 miles an hour on velocity. I can't confirm it, but I'm getting a lot of reports from you all letting me know that the winds are quite gusty in and around that storm. So we're getting ground confirmation from you all letting me know that. If you're in Decatur, you can see the lightning to the south. You have some heavy rain. If you're in Russellville or Phil Campbell, you had some gusty winds earlier. We had some power outages in eastern Franklin County in portions of Alabama. If you're in Florence or the Shoals or Tuscumbia or Sheffield, this is all beyond east of you, gone, you're good. If you're in Huntsville, there's a few light showers falling right now, but everything is mainly north and south and split the difference. If you're in Aniana or Albertville or Gunnersville, where there's a big fishing tournament today, I would say you're not done yet. That storm or the line to the west is still headed your way. If you're in beautiful Lookout Mountain or if you're in Sand Mountain, whether you're in North Sand Mountain, South Sand Mountain, wherever you are in Sand Mountain, these storms are still headed your way. But as I showed earlier in the radar, the storm near Coleman, though it's off to our west, is veering south and east. And they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for areas south of Coleman. So this is now the Birmingham area. It includes Jasper and counties south that I'm not aware of because I don't forecast there. And that's where the strengthening of these storms is happening right now. And probably if this is the case where they continue to strengthen, they will choke off the energy to the north, which means that the convergence of these two areas is likely not going to happen, which favors weaker storms for our area overnight into the morning. Brianna says, wind and thunder is picking up here pretty intensely in Hartselle. And think about this in Hartselle. The storm's not even really in your area. The storm is mainly south of you. So you got wind in Hartselle. You probably have a lot of lightning to your south and a lot of thunder. But the storm is actually missing you for the most part in Hartselle. But you'll still have an impact, though. It's not directly overhead. It is directly overhead in this area right here. Take the lightning strikes off so you can see it. Beautiful Vinemont, South Vinemont, West Point. This is right along 65 and 31. Not quite in Coleman yet for those of you who watch us there. Eva, you got some heavy rain just to your west, and you could probably see a lot of lightning in beautiful Eva. If you're in Falkville, all you got to do is look south. It's a big old light show out there. And cloud-to-ground lightning is very dangerous, even though it's not criteria for a severe thunderstorm warning. There's that warning everybody talked about. Look how big that polygon is. That's epic. Let's go down to Birmingham for a minute. Yeah. Look at all the lightning strikes now. Woo! That's all darting south and east, though. So besides the player to the north, this is all we got. This is the only player in town right here. And the movement on it is to the east. It's really like southeast, but we'll play east for now. And there you go. So there's your towns. Check it out. See what you got. Thank you for all the updates, though. I really appreciate that. Tasha, we have some serious lightning, thunder, and winds now, as opposed to non-serious thunder and lightning. Yes, but Tasha, very cool update. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you are near that big old cluster of lightning, the winds are picking up, the rain is heavy, wind gusts up to 40, 50, a lot of lightning, it's a thunderstorm. That's what it is. And certainly loud and bright. Morgan says, it literally sounds like it's on the top of my house in Hartselle. Close, but still impactful. Whether it's above you or it's just to the south of you, it's still loud and bright and scary, right? Taylor says, all the way in New Hope, I can hear thunder. And what's crazy is that storm's not even near you right now. But that's what happens. You can hear storms for miles and miles and miles away. Michael, so it's moving southeast, will barely miss Gunnersville. Yeah, it's going to be close. But Michael, I agree. I think, I mean, when it was warned, it was moving east, okay? But it's all kind of darting south and east. This goes back to like back when I first started this Facebook Live. Everything was kind of darting to the south and east the entire time. And you know what I should do? Michael, here's a good way to do this. Instead of just doing it that way, I'm going to go a little bit more southeast like this. And that actually makes more sense. So just my thinking. Yeah, Ashley, I think in Decatur you're good to go. I think the cluster of storms south of you stays well south. I don't see any development behind this right now, and I think you're okay. And it should make you nervous, Tasha. Storms are scary, especially those night ones. When you have all this lightning and you hear thunder and you can't see out the window. Well, you can see out the window. You just can't see much because it's dark. But yeah, it's intimidating. I get it. Jennifer says, just had some hail in Vinemont. That's a great update. I cannot thank you enough, Jennifer. You're the best. Beautiful Vinemont. Love Vinemont. Vivacious Vinemont is what we'll call it. But can you give me an idea, Jennifer? The size, is it like the little tiny pea-size hail? Or is it maybe a little bit bigger than that? If you could let me know, I'll try to keep an eye on your comment, okay? Heather says, I didn't even know it was stormy. I just got up. You know what, Heather? If you live in Huntsville or Owens Crossroads or Athens, it hasn't been stormy. So you good. You right on. You got it. You okay? It hasn't been stormy. I haven't had anything. Bonnie Teague, is Trinity done for the night? I think you still got some rain in Trinity for a little bit longer, but I think overall you're okay, Bonnie. Okay? Lacey says, we had a little hail in Falkville too. Yeah, give me size on that. Like little pea-size hail? I would imagine probably like maybe half an inch. Amanda says, what a good lightning show in Falkville. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I love a good light show when it's not over my house, but I always get worried with good light shows because I know a lot of it's probably cloud to ground lightning tonight, and that could be dangerous. And we don't want any. It seems like with every storm we've had this month of May, there's been some tree or house that's been struck by lightning, and then the tree falls on the house. Bad, bad, bad. We don't want that. Ginger says, pea-size hail. You're the best. Appreciate it. Vinemont's town clerk is amazing as well. Oh, I would imagine definitely, yes. Vivacious Vinemont. I love Vinemont. Bjorn, I assume Huntsville is good. No, it's okay. You can join at any time. I'm here. I'm here for you, man. It's all good. 4:07. I'll go on air till 5. I got time to kill here. I will wrap this up probably at 4:45 because we can't stream on live while we're on the newscast because you'll just hear the anchors the whole time. And then when we talk really mad, crazy stuff about each other, you'll hear it in the microphone, so we can't do that. So, sorry. No, we don't talk bad about each other. We actually love each other here in the morning. So that severe thunderstorm warning, I think a second one just got issued. Again, it's south of Coleman at this point. That would be for the gusty winds and heavy rain. Bridget says, did the storm shift? No. Everything actually is played out according to plan, except they never merged. We never had the two areas become one main line. So there's been reports of severe weather all around us tonight. We had actually severe weather in Franklin County in Alabama when this particular cell that you see on the radar south moved across. And we had some very strong gusty winds and some power outages. Brianna says, I live in a camper. So it's pretty crazy when thunder is rolling in. Oh, I'd imagine it's very scary. Gary says, can I email you sometime this coming week and give you some more information about my podcast? Sure. Feed me, Gary. Got it. Good to go. Hunter, do you think the storms will come together for Scottsboro? I honestly am not feeling it. I don't think so, Hunter. I feel like I see some rain filling in Huntsville, but the northern portion of this storm's up towards Winchester, Tennessee. The energy off to the south is really going to choke off an energy to the north. I just don't see this whole thing merging together. Even my forecast model that I had, I didn't use it earlier because we have a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. for the Tennessee Valley. And I didn't have a forecast model that justified that because they didn't have any of this all coming together. So right now, I don't think it happens. But I'm not going to give up, but I'm going to sit here and watch it until we go on air and then watch it while I'm on air 5 to 7. Not until all this clears east can I say with certainty that we're good to go. But I think all the strongest of cells right now will likely be south of us through the morning at this point. Just the way this is all playing out. And you've all watched it with me. I mean, essentially, we're now casting together. I appreciate you all for helping me too. This is good. I like the input. And I only had to block one person. It was great. So, we're okay. How bad do you think it will get for Douglas? Kimberly, I don't think it gets too bad. You got to keep an eye on that lightning. So in Douglas, Kimberly, you guys can keep an eye on this. This is not a severe storm right now. This part of it isn't, but this part is down here. But overall, instead of moving directly east, and I think Michael was on earlier, and he made a good point in Guntersville, this is all kind of darting like more like southeast now. It's not really moving east. So therefore, the strongest of any cell that's associated with that line, that's really the only player on the whole radar right now, would likely just stay just south of you in Douglas, okay? Could still get some gusty winds up to 40 miles an hour and some heavy rain and vivid lightning. But that's my disclosure. Mackenzie, will it be bad south of Gadsden towards like Jacksonville? You would probably have a higher chance of the storms holding together and bringing you more substantial wind and rain than, say, areas in Gadsden or Albertville or Guntersville or Fort Payne or Sylvania or Fife to the north. Yep. Watching from Leola Road in Bankhead Forest. Heard some thunder and rain. Thankfully, no severe storms. Thanks for keeping us informed. Tim, you're very welcome, and thank you for the update. That was very thorough. I like that. Kimberly says, thank you. You're very welcome. My kids are going to be up in 2 hours. Libby, I'm so sorry. Just make sure when they get up in 2 hours that you tune into WAFF 48. And Claudia, Matthew, and myself would love to help you all wake up in the morning. My latte is cold. Max, it seems like convection is not there, Madison. No, Madison County, I think you're good. I know you probably just jumped on, Max, but this area to the north and south just not coming together, everybody. So I'm pretty much just babysitting that storm down towards Coleman at this point and just seeing what happens there at this point. I think everything just plays down. I know we're in a severe thunderstorm watch until 10 a.m. Let me just reiterate. I'm going to reset for those of you who are just coming on now at this wonderful 4:12 in the morning. Some of you just getting home from your good night. Others waking up. Tornado watch. There was one issued for parts of Middle Tennessee, no longer. Severe thunderstorm watch at 2:15, 2:20. It was issued for the entire North Alabama area until 10 a.m. We've already trimmed back 3 counties, Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin. I would imagine that Lawrence County will follow suit shortly. I would imagine that Limestone County will follow suit shortly. And I imagine southwestern zones too. We do not have a severe thunderstorm warning for our immediate viewing area, but just south of Coleman there is one. This is more towards the Birmingham TV market. I will say this though, this is interesting. Little bit right there, not much. I saw a little lightning strike. Let me zoom in here for just a moment. There it is. Little lightning strike in Huntsville and a little bit more of where it might be starting to see a little bit of convection there. But we'll see what happens. We got to keep an eye on that part, okay? That's why I'm here. Doesn't look all that impressive or anything like that. If it blows up to be a storm that's even remotely severe. It will likely be more like East Madison County and Western Jackson County. CJ, any tornado risk for Jackson County? I think it's a really low chance. I think what you'd be more concerned with in Jackson County is probably some rain and wind, if the storms can even come together. Right now, there's a big gap between two areas of storms, one to your north, one to your south, and you're in the middle. And if they don't come together, you get just some rain. Typical thunderstorm. Thank you, Laura. Eva Fairview. Really windy and pouring between Eva and Fairview. Sure is. I'll zoom in too. If you have the time to come to the chat and talk, and I can actually read one of your questions without missing it, I will zoom in on your particular location. I know where Fairview is. I know where Eva is. I got you. Heavy rainfall falling right there. Centerdale. Try to get some roads. Highway 55. I know that area. County Road 1527. And then, of course, beautiful Eva Road in Eva. I would imagine there's some pretty good wind gusts. I'm going to zoom out for a second. I'm sorry if I made you dizzy right there. I didn't mean to do that. I want to take the Birmingham velocity. You're in such a tough area in Eva. I love y'all, but we need better radar there. That didn't do anything. That was poop. Let me try this again. That's not going to help me either. A little bit. Yeah, I bet you probably got some wind gusts to about 40, 45 miles an hour. Eva, you're in like a lost area. You're like this little area that just doesn't. Yeah, I'd say about 40 miles an hour. So anyway, that's the player in town. Northern Coleman County, southeastern Morgan County is a better way to say it. It's darting kind of southeast as it moves away from that area. We do got a little bit in the way of something trying to pop north of. I mean, this area is a little bit of rainfall. That kind of, there you go, right there. But this area right in here is still pretty conducive for some storms. I mean, the air mass says yes. We'll see if it plays out. But Jacob says crazy wind and small hail right now in Falkville. Yeah, that storm is actually not even over the top of you. That's actually south of you right now. And you're getting the winds. Kiona, Shanta. Florence is good. Get some sleep. Have a good night. You good. Thunder is starting to roar in Arab, Vicky says. Let's go to Arab. And look at this. Not even near you. But you can hear it and you can see it. And there's some rainfall on the cusp of you in Arab. Ever so close. It's interesting. Little heavy rainmaker just about Hazel Green, Meridianville, New Market right now. And we've still got a chance for something to pop over there. I'm talking to myself right now, everybody. I don't see anything really sticks out though. All right, just watching. I know, Vicky, I just thought of that. Is your last name really Weatherman? Vicky, that's awesome. Vicky Weatherman. That is awesome. Vicky, you're my new best friend. Is there any more rain or storms coming in the weekend? Brianna, that's a great question. I think once this line of storms moves out, everybody, I think your Saturday turns out to be a pretty nice day. There is another cluster of storms late Saturday night into Sunday morning, and then there's the potential for a few isolated storms Sunday afternoon. Right now, it doesn't look like it plays out to be widespread severe weather, but probably the more impactful cluster of storms would be the afternoon one on Sunday if it materializes, because that would impact your outdoor plans. The ones that come in late tonight into Sunday morning would be between about 3 and 7 a.m. and wouldn't have an impact on the day, but there'd still be the threat for some storms. I hope that helps. Kira, how much longer before Coleman is in the clear? My storm anxiety is through the roof. I get it. I can't clear you quite yet in Coleman. In fact, I don't know what part of Coleman you're in, but South Coleman, probably more impactful than North Coleman right now, but the whole county has lightning and has some gusty winds and heavy rainfall, though the lightning strikes with that have actually backed off. That storm is actually weakening on the north side of it. South Coleman's still pretty strong and a lot of lightning with it, no matter where you are in Coleman County. But I would probably say you should be clear in about, like, that storm will be east of you in about 10, 15 minutes. Cheyenne, is this the only round tonight? Yeah, I don't see anything behind it. I think we're okay. I don't see anything behind it. Cody says, very loud in Hartselle. Yeah, I'm telling you, these thunderstorms are loud, bright, and big old rainmakers with some gusty winds. But overall, severe weather threat has been minimal. The longest sustained severe thunderstorm warning that we've had was back when the storm first moved into Franklin County in Alabama, brought some gusty winds to Russellville, Phil Campbell, knocked some power out in eastern Franklin County, and then darted south and east. It didn't take quite a complete eastern movement. So therefore, the severe thunderstorm warning has been extended south of Coleman. But if you were in southeast Morgan County, like in the Eva area, on your way to the Arab area, there's some very heavy rain, and you can see a lot of lightning in the sky, and there's a lot of thunder. But that storm is not severe in that part of it, okay? Doesn't mean you still can't have a wind gust of 40, 50 miles an hour that can't cause some damage. Doesn't mean there can't be a couple isolated power outages, okay? Thank you, Kira. I appreciate that. She's in the Berlin area. Lots of lightning. I got it. Always late night when they want to hit. You answered my question about the weekend. Thanks. You give helpful information. Always. Oh, Brianna, you're so sweet. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to hang out with you. I mean, I got nothing else to do at 4:20 a.m. Lightning loves my area, Bjorn says. That one little lightning bolt in Huntsville. Yeah, lightning, in all seriousness, has been a big issue with our storms in the last couple of weeks, even like last couple of months. Seems like every storm has been just these incredible electric light shows. And there's been numerous reports of damage with lightning in the last couple of months. It's been really intense. I'm so sorry. I'm starting to lose my voice, everybody. Bridget, I hope everyone stays safe and weather where Scottsboro looks like it'll be quiet. And Scottsboro looks pretty good right now. I love Scottsboro. Head over to Unclaimed Baggage and have a day around 35. Scottsboro right now looks good. I'm still not quite convinced that you won't have maybe a thunderstorm when could be a little bit of development in Jackson County still. I can't obviously clear you by no means. The storms haven't even gotten to you yet. But I think overall you look pretty good right now. Rainsville, same thing. Storms are still off to your west. And I think our initial forecast had you clear by 5 a.m., but probably 6. And just to reiterate, there is still a severe thunderstorm watch for parts of the area. It's not a watch means that conditions are favorable. The watch has already been trimmed back about an hour and a half after it was issued. And now it's being cut back and areas east are still in it. So that means there's still some kind of potential there. Though nothing really jumps out at me right now. This is going to be a widespread severe thunderstorm daybreak, early morning hour. But still impactful with some rain and some winds of 40 miles an hour, okay? Hi, Heather Gore Whitaker. Winds are really picking up here in Somerville. The thunder is very loud. Yep, so this is another classic example of not being near the storm. So here you are in Somerville. There ain't nothing near you. But what you hear in Somerville is this in Baileyton. A lot of thunder and lightning here, and that's what you hear. Probably got some winds, because you get these little outflow boundaries from these storms. Remember, we talked about how you get outflow boundaries. It's air rushing to the ground out of this thunderstorm. And you get these little wind gusts that precede the storm, or even behind the storm sometimes too, called a wake low sometimes, okay? Look at me being all weathery. Anyway, you get some gusty winds too. So just goes to show you, and this is a great example, and I hope that you all hanging out with me, picking up what I'm putting down, is you don't have to be under the pretty red, yellow colors to have the storm impact you. You can be with a storm like this outside of that bright color and still have some winds and rain, and you can hear it and see it, right? But obviously the areas that are underneath that red and yellow, more of a direct impact with some really heavy rainfall too, right? Taylor says the winds are picking up in New Hope. Yeah, there's, I love it when y'all make me feel like I know what I'm doing. So here's New Hope here. Main storm down here. Oh, I hate when I do that. Main storm down here. But the outflow boundary getting to you now. In fact, let's verify this for just a second. Let me see what I can find here. So this is up all the way almost to Huntsville right now. So you want to talk about a serious outflow boundary? Look at that right there. So these storms to the south are producing winds 35 to 45 probably at the surface all the way up into South Huntsville right now. It's pretty crazy. It's very impressive outflow if that's actually happening. I want to do something really quick, everybody. Just bear with me for just a moment. I'm still here. I'm sorry I'm not talking. I'm trying to do something, everybody. I can't do two things at once. Just want to do something really quick on this. It doesn't really show it. Not what I'm trying to do here. Now I really messed things up. You can kind of see it here. It's really hard to see, but you see this little blue movement here? That's actually the outflow boundary from that storm to the south. That's what I'm trying to get. So as this storm to the south moves to the east, and you think you're in this area here and the storm's way down here, and you're like, I'm good. But no, there's some winds making it all the way up into Huntsville right now. At least South Huntsville. Hang on a second, everybody. I don't think that's hitting the surface there, but it's close. Okay, sorry, I was in my own thoughts there. What time will the watch be over in Moulton? The watch goes till 10 a.m. Ashley, but it should be cut back here soon. It won't go till 10. It'll be cut back here probably by 5. Just hopped on. Is it moving north or south? Robin, everything's moving generally west to east. I'll put it in motion for you. But there's not a lot going on in terms of severe weather. But there is some wind gust, even if you're not in the strongest part of the storm, which is south. There's still some wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour with this entire line of rain. But it's not a severe thunderstorm. Bjorn says wind just picked up in South Huntsville as you said that. Oh, good. Bjorn, thank you. I appreciate that. That's very cool of you to say that. Yeah, so I'm going to take the motion off because I just want to keep it still for a second. So this area right here is the strongest of thunderstorms right now down in Coleman County. But as I've shown you on the velocity, we are getting some gusty winds all the way up into South Huntsville, probably up into Gurley. I mean, wind gusts probably close to 40, 45. You don't have to be directly under the thunderstorm to hear it, see it, and have an impact. But overall, we're not at severe thunderstorm criteria. But with that said, Corey just told me that they lost power in South Arab. Says the wind is strong in Arab. So, Boaz, I saw a question for Boaz. Yeah, it's still headed your way. There'll be an impact for sure with some kind of wind and rain. I'm gonna do something. I want to clear that. Hang on a second. I'm going to try to take it from Birmingham. I think this is better. Let's take it from Birmingham, see what we can do. That doesn't really have much. Some shear rate. Nah. I'm still streaming. What are you doing?
Just want to know how much longer you want to stream for.
Well, you know what I'll do? Because you're ready to tap out. You've been here since 11 o'clock. You just hanging out, huh?
I've been here since
5 p.m.
p.m.
That's a trooper right there. Y'all hear that? That's Kate. I'm not even, I just have the radar up.
No, they hear it and they're like, yep,
Yeah.
Kate's a real one.
So Min's saying, is Boaz going to get hit? I think you get some winds and some rain here in the next like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And there's Boaz. Do I need to leave my camper in South Vinemont? That's a great question. I honestly think that if you were in South Vinemont, you should have probably already left the camper. That storm is mainly east of you now. You can see the lightning to the south of you in South Vinemont, and you can hear the thunder, and the rain is probably pretty heavy. But if you're in South Vinemont, that storm already kind of cleared you. So if you've been in the camper so far, I don't think I'd leave the camper now, but that's just me. I'm in a camper in Gunnersville, so we need to leave the camper. Amy, that's up to you. You got lightning and thunder, and you got some gusty winds up to 40 miles an hour headed your way, heavy rainfall. You know, if you think that being in the camper with that is not safe, then I would probably take the necessary precautions, you know. I've never been in a camper for a severe thunderstorm, and I know that if I knew that there was storms in the if I knew there were storms in the forecast, I probably would have been very careful wanting to go camping this weekend and just keep an eye on things, you know. So that's something that's up to you, Amy. But 40-mile-an-hour winds in a camper, I'm sure is going to rock it, you know.
Like
and
NASCAR.
Yep, heavy rain. Hannah says losing power in Arab, but the wind is getting high. Yep, you got some gusts up to about 40 miles an hour, maybe even 50 in Arab. And that is going to certainly knock some power out. We've already had that happen in eastern Franklin County earlier, and some heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, and continuing to watch this line of storms. What I'm going to do, everybody, is I am going to shut the feed down because I have to get ready for the 5 o'clock show. I still have to put some graphics together, and I'm not quite ready to go at 5 o'clock, so I need to get that ready. Hannah's talking about the power. Thank you so much, Tasha. You're very welcome. You are very kind, y'all. Hey, Sean, what's up, buddy? Sean's my buddy.
I love it.
I owe Sean this huge apology because I think Sean's the coolest guy in the world. I saw him at a Havoc game. He came up, he talked to me, and I couldn't remember his first name. And it was like this awkward moment of like pause where I didn't talk to him for a second. And then I was like, after he left and walked away, I said, Sean. And then so the next day I said, you must have thought I was the most arrogant jerk in the world, right? Anyway, he said, what's up, boss? What's the outlook for the rest of the day? And thank you for keeping it real, my friend. Sean, you're the best. I think you're good. You doing some fishing today, my friend? And if you are, I think you're good. Just watch out for the breeze out of the west, 15 to 20 miles an hour. Once the line of storms moves out this morning, you're good to go. And therefore, have a great day fishing. I'm sure that's what you're probably asking about. If not, and you're doing outdoor plans elsewhere or something else, have an awesome day, my friend. Good to see you on, okay? How long before it's in Gunnersville? It is on your doorstep in Gunnersville. Almost there, almost there. I was in a camper in April 2019, and it flipped about 4 times. Yeah, a great example of why staying in a camper for severe storms or even strong storms is probably not a good thing. Ashley says, loud thunder, heavy rain in Hanceville. Yep, it's on your doorstep. You can see it right there. Not a severe storm. Jeff says, Sean says, no, you don't, Jeff Desnoyers. Sean, you're the best, man. But I am watching this very closely, okay? So I'm going to put you on here. There I am, all gray and old. So I am keeping a very close eye on this radar, everybody. I don't have any severe thunderstorm warnings. I have some winds that are gusting up to 40 miles an hour from about South Huntsville, south into Gunnersville. There's a light show to the south with this. There's some heavy rainfall. At this point, it's just a typical thunderstorm moving east. If we have any development that strengthens here in the next 20 minutes before I go to air at 5, I will hop back on for areas in Sand Mountain and Lookout Mountain. But right now, I don't think that this is a widespread severe weather outbreak tonight. There is still an impact with winds up to 40, 50 miles an hour. But overall, the two areas didn't really quite come together, and therefore I'm going to let it monitor it itself while I go off air and get ready for the 5 o'clock show. And I will have much more at the top of the hour on air with Claudia and Matthew, and we'll track the last of these storms as they move out. When they do, the weather will improve greatly, and it will look like a really beautiful day ahead of us once we get past this last push of storms there on the radar. Again, the main cluster there is down to the south, Coleman County, but I'm sure in Guntersville you got some gusty winds. We already talked about some power outages in Arab. Aniana going to get something in a minute. Hansville, you got it coming right now, happening in your neck of the woods. But the dynamics, the core of this is all darting south and east and away from our area and out of our viewing area. So the severe thunderstorm watch, last I checked, had been cut back by 3 counties. I anticipate that to continue. Blount County, keeping an eye on it, weakening trend. We will continue to monitor. We're additionally working on clearing all counties except Marshall and DeKalb counties from the severe watch. So the severe thunderstorm watch, which was issued at 2:15 until 10 a.m., is going to be trimmed back probably before 5 a.m. for most locations except for DeKalb and Marshall County, as we keep an eye on that cluster to the south for some gusty winds. Gary says very heavy rain in South Huntsville. Yeah, I mean, there's some rain for sure. And yeah, I think we're good. So I'm going to wrap it up. And thank you all for hanging out in the stream. Thank you all for nowcasting with me. Thank you all for your updates. Thank you all for just being you. And I appreciate you all tremendously. And on air at 5 o'clock with the very latest. Talk to you soon.